to the Footy Interchange Exchange. Paps likes to call it the People's Podcast, except there's no Papalia, so I guess it's just our podcast, Eliza. We are getting through your questions and answers today. Looking forward to getting them. If you do want to feature on the show, you can do it two ways. You can just send a question to YouTube on socials or email us. You can email us at hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. Put a comment either on socials or on YouTube. We'll find them there. Or you can become a patron of the show. Do that at backchatpodcast.com.au. We'll answer your questions first at all times and get discounts and things like that as well. Eliza, welcome to the Q&A edition.
Thank you. Good to be here. Let's rip in.
Okay, it sounds good. Jason on Patreon, he says, what are the top 5 non-negotiables for the Eagles this off-season? Great question, Jason, and without any preparation whatsoever, I'm going to shoot from the hip. They need to. And you can give your 5 as well, Eliza.
Yep.
They need to make their list better. Now, am I going to prioritise players? They just need good players. Like, I don't care if they're talls, smalls, in-betweeners, rucks, midfielders, forwards, backs. They just need a better list. So they should do that with the picks they get for Oscar Allen, probably Liam Ryan as well. They're going to have at least 4 first-round picks, I think. If they get a priority, they might even have 5. So if you can go add 5 first-rounders to your list, does that make sense, that maths? If Liam Ryan's not going to give you a first-rounder?
He's not a first-rounder.
Hey?
Nah, not a first-rounder.
Second-rounder?
They have...
Early second-rounder?
Don't they have 3 at the moment? And
Yes.
then you add in Oscar and
Maybe
then
they
you get
get a
an early
priority.
second-rounder.
Maybe they get a priority.
Could you package up the priority and the Ryan pick and move up?
So they need to do that, right? So they need to make their list better. Their current list, their current players need to go away in this off-season and they need to get better. And specifically, their skills. You can do that in an off-season. Your decision-making, your experience, your structural play, that will happen in time. But you can spend an off-season, 2-3 months they get these days, 3 months at least, just practicing your skills, kicking, marking, handballing. And that sounds basic and it sounds ridiculous for an AFL team, but their fundamental skills are the worst in the business at the moment. And I think their current players need to go and work on that. They need to take complete responsibility for how this club's going at the moment, and they need to get better. Back of house stuff, I think they're going to have to go and add a high quality assistant, if not more, depending if Webster's gone. Schofield rumoured to be making decisions around his future as well.
Huge. How was Mad Monday for PSA?
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
With the 18-year-olds?
No, not me, Schofield. Jared Schofield.
Oh.
Jared Schofield, not Will Schofield.
I thought you were pumping yourself up after your amazing season head coaching.
We came second in the PSA.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about Will Schofield. I will never coach at AFL level. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm happy to put a line through my name. Jared Schofield, of course, looking after the midfield. I've just heard his name thrown up. I don't know what he's doing for next year, but I think they need to add like a really high quality assistant coach.
Yep.
Again, not having to go at the assistant coaches in there right now, but
Just
I think
new voices, new blood.
Correct. Look, I'd like to see this across the board in AFL land for teams. Now, this isn't targeted at the West Coast media department, but it sort of is. I think they needed to become more honest with their messaging. I think it needs to be a priority. I think they need to give the fans more honesty. I think they need to communicate better across the board with what's happening internally, whether that's board, executive, coaches, players, everyone. And honestly, I would say that to every team. If you can be honest in your media and your communication, I think that's the way that good teams have gone across the world. And if you're talking about West Coast, I think that's an area that they need to prioritise.
On that, Elizabeth Gaines, the new chair this year.
Yes.
We've not heard from her at all.
No, would you like to?
Yes. I look at the big Melbourne clubs and you hear their presidents, their chairs, whatever, they make themselves available to the media and West Coast over here. And this is the whole board, but Liz Gaines is probably a symptom of it. They've just come off their worst season in club history. They've had 1 win. And we've not heard from the board at all, and she's the face of the board. So I do find it strange that she's not showed up in the media all year. Like I've requested her, I've asked for a chat with her, and been told that they were sort of working through a number of requests, and obviously none of those have come to fruition. They still could in the next few weeks, but definitely interesting.
I'm struggling for a 5th. Have I missed on any of those? Do you agree with those 4? And do you have a 5th that I'm missing, a priority West Coast could have in the off-season?
I find the player get better list number one point. How many players have West Coast been linked to? It seems like every second player that's out of contract, they've been linked to them.
So you think they need to go and get someone at trade?
I think they do, but
Well,
it's
of course
just,
they have because they're so poor.
They're so poor that anyone who's available, they're putting their hand up.
I didn't realise Angus Sheldrick had re-signed. He's re-signed at Sydney for 2 years.
He's locked in.
Because he's someone that keeps getting thrown up. Well, he's not available
He's
anymore.
off the market. Yeah.
There will be a few, and I think they should be linked to more players.
Yeah.
Because that's what they need to fill that gap in the list. That's senior leaders been on the list, had success or failure, but you've seen what it takes. I think they need to add more of those players.
What about number 5, Liam Baker, captain? Does he take over next year?
Well, that's an interesting one because I do view the captaincy as an internal position, and I know like a lot of people like to have opinions on it, but in the end, if you're not in the four walls, you see, let's use the example. You see Liam Duggan and Oscar Allen, you see their media performances, and you see what they do on field too. But I really think that the captaincy is just a decision gets made by the players, coaches, and gets ratified by the board. I really don't like weighing into it because we don't know. You don't know what sort of leader Liam Baker is, do you? No. I don't. I certainly don't. The players do. We don't know what sort of leader Liam Duggan is. I probably don't, given I haven't played with him for 5 years. I haven't seen him on a field.
Well, when he was drafted, people were saying he was a future captain.
I know what sort of player he
was.
was.
An 18-year-old.
Well, as 5 years ago, I know what sort of player he is. But it's such a specific game day thing that only the players on the field knows what sort of leader he is. So you'd have to speak to a current West Coast player for that. Should that be a priority? No. I think we've given you enough there, Jason.
Yeah, you've got 4.5, maybe. 4.5.
Very good. Chris Walsh on Patreon asked us, with St Kilda re-signing Naz short term, TDK on supposed massive money, and Lee Kalir strongly linked to the side, what should the expectation from them be next season? Because it feels like missing the 8 would be a failure with those added to the list. Any thoughts on that?
Missing the 8 being a failure. I still don't there's obviously top end talent that's coming in.
Yes.
But they still don't feel like a side that's going to be in top 4 contention for the next few years.
Yes.
Like it could click quickly for them, but I still see them being like that sort of 7 to 10 range on the ladder for the foreseeable future. I personally don't think that missing the 8 would be a failure,
So
even if they get those guys.
Why
in.
are they going and got Ross Lyon then? Because it feels like he's a coach that wins.
Yeah.
Not a coach that builds or hasn't been in the past.
No, he's not. Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense. Not saying you don't make any sense, but like that, to go and
Ouch.
to go and sign Naz, to add TDK, Rowan Marshall's, that's sounding like that's getting messy in there as well. Lee Kalir, I sort of spoke about him as a backman. I don't know if he has the defensive prowess that they're really requiring. So we'll have to wait and see with the Saints. To answer the question, is it a failure? I probably align with you. Probably not, which is disappointing for Saints fans.
Yeah.
Probably. Just found a bunch of other questions in Patreon land. So Harry Huntley has got a couple for us. Which backman should the Dogs target in the trade period? Seems like the area that they lack in.
Stephen May.
Is that right? That is smart by you.
I think Stephen May. Obviously there's all rumours around Melbourne that they can't roll into next season with the same list and they need to make some change. Stephen May could be right for the picking, and Jake Lever, who was obviously dropped at some point during the year. Could you prize one of them out?
Jeez, putting them in the Bulldogs lineup suddenly makes that a scary side.
Yeah.
If it's not already.
Yeah.
That's a really good call because I clearly don't have any idea about who's available and who's not. Stephen May, Jake Lever, he did get dropped, you're right. So if the Bulldogs could come to a deal with Melbourne, Melbourne clearly would be, well, not clearly, depends what the new coach wants. I mean, they're going to be trying to acquire a coach before Grand Final Day. We heard from their new CEO. Interesting to see who that is and whether that changes May, Lever or anyone else involved with that footy club, but good answer there, Eliza. Harry also asked Geelong on getting a home final at the G instead of their stadium after the upgrades. Thoughts? I'll take this one on a little bit. I mean, clearly Geelong want to be able to play finals at home. They want to get more people in the gate as well during the year. That's why they've extended. It's not purely on the back of finals. I do find it strange, to be honest. Being a Geelong guy, I've never seen a final played in Geelong. I'd moved out of there by the time Freo went and played that game there. The fact they were able to do that, but then they don't want to put other games there. Brisbane seems like a side that if you get 40,000 in the door at Kardinia Park, which is what you'd be able to do right now, That seems like a matchup that would be well. So is there any other sides in the country that would be under this situation if they finished in the top 4? Is it just Geelong?
No, it's just Geelong.
I mean, I know that there's different things with Etihad and Melbourne, but I guess at least you're in Melbourne.
Still.
You know, Sydney, GWS get to play their home games at home. Gold Coast get to play their games at home. We know what happens here in the West. So that, for me, as much as we like to moan about the inequality in fixturing, that feels like one over East that at least is not probably parallel with what the AFL should be doing. Brendan on Patreon asks us, are we getting the West Australian team commentating the West Australian finals game instead of an East Coast phone-in job? From Brendan. Asking the hard question there, Brendan. I won't say who, but I will say, I'll give you a bit of insight here on, and it's going off right now. I do have a text message group.
Huge.
With the Fox Footy team here in Western Australia.
Yep.
Somebody did put in there around what's happening. We're excited. We've got another couple of weeks over here in the West. What's happening? And there's a bit of back and forward. There has been some captaincy, sort of some leadership, a bit of a leadership spill, given one of the members of this group has signed himself up to be the CEO of an AFL club. So there has been some current debate around who the leader is of the West Australian Fox Footy team.
Okay.
It's not Pav anymore. It was Captain Pavlich.
It's been demoted.
Right, he has. So I will say I'm not putting my hand up to be captain. So it is between the others involved in that.
So Paps and Kath.
Perhaps Kath, Simo as well.
Yeah.
But we don't know what his future holds either next year, of course. So I to answer your question around about way, Brendan, I really hope so. I hope so selfishly because, not to put myself in front of anyone, but I definitely know more about Freo than most people in the country because I watch them every week. We talk about it every week.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get sick of talking about West Coast.
Leave the big dogs over East with their one final, the poor Victorians. They can commentate that.
Yeah, that's going to hurt, I reckon. So we'll absolutely have to wait and see. If not, I'll just go and watch from the stands, which would be fun anyway. Scotty on Patreon as well. If you do want to get involved in these first part of the questions, you can sign up as a Patreon. As I said, backchatpodcast.com.au. Do you see Freo making a grand final, considering they would have to play either Brisbane and or Geelong away in a semi to make a prelim against Adelaide or Collingwood away? What are your thoughts on Freo and the flag, Eliza?
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
But it seems like this is their year where they, win their first final, win that elimination final, get to a semi, build a bit of momentum, but then the real crack is next year because we know how hard it is for WA teams to win from outside the top 2.
Yes. I think they can win a flag, but I think that makes it hard. Playing Brisbane at the Gabba. Would they play Geelong we've just spoken about it. Would they play Geelong at GMHBA?
If it's Fremantle, they would make them play
would
there.
Would they?
Yeah.
Well, see, I think that's ridiculous as well. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't think they would. I think it would still be at the G, but you never know with the AFL.
I think they can win a flag. I think they've got a good enough team too. Do I think they will? Maybe not this year, but they can. Bryant, it's going to be difficult though. I think you have to win 4 in a row, of course, like every other side that's finished outside the top 4. Bryant on Patreon, what sort of return do you see West Coast getting from St Kilda for Liam Ryan? So you don't think a first rounder? I don't either.
Early first round.
Early second round?
Early second round, yeah.
Early second round. I mean, that's a pretty good price.
Because it will, by the time you've got father-son bids and NGAs, it probably pushes out to a 30, 35 on draft night.
West Coast to take that, and I think it's a win-win-win for everyone. Liam, West Coast and St Kilda, if that happens. People listening along will probably say that's the same for Oscar Allen. Maybe it is. Dylan Hassard with the final one on Patreon. Should West Coast think about trading Harley and go for picks 1, 2, 3 and 4 in this year's draft? Should they trade Harley? I think no. I don't think he will. Reports coming out that he wants his management group, Nick Geeshan and co, to only deal with West Coast. I think sooner rather than later we'll see a deal go through there for 2 years, potentially. Yep. I don't think we're going to see a big 10-yearer. But I think he'll sign on for the foreseeable future and see what they can put together with some youth and another year under Andrew McQualter. I think he likes playing under Andrew McQualter. Andrew would look at Harley as his best player, so I'd be treating him that way as well. And I think he's probably starting to find his feet in Western Australia and Perth. I think it makes sense for him commercially as well.
Yeah, I don't think West Coast can afford to lose him.
No, that would be the other point. A couple of other questions we can get through to people on YouTube as well as Instagram. James asks, should the pre-finals bye be moved to pre-grand finals so that any players who suffer concussion in a prelim are available? Could all the awards be done in that bye week? I've covered this fair bit. Where do you sit on this, Eliza?
I very firmly agree with James that it should be moved to grand final weeks. We have the best players playing in the grand final.
So do I. And Rocky made a good point in our show on Tuesday that if there is an injury tomorrow, sorry, we're recording this Tuesday, so Wednesday, from either Gold Coast or Essendon, less so Essendon, Gold Coast could be without players under that concussion protocol. So, yeah, the pre-season, so the pre-finals bye is decent. However, I think it would be better before a grand final. Someone on YouTube asks, seems that everyone is against $2 million a year contracts for junior players until it's done by a Victorian club. How peculiar.
In reference to Nizaya?
Correct. Yeah, no one's whinging about that one, but they are about Harley. Bloody good point. Cam has emailed this one in. You can do that, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. Question 1 for the footy pods. Could Bailey Williams be a backman? Has the size, athleticism and competitiveness and is good one-on-one. Don't mind him as a ruck forward, but could get pushed out with Waterman, Shanahan, Jack Williams, Archer Reid. Fit, especially if Scully's mail on Jed Walter is true. Don't know what you're talking about there. Just be careful in front of Eliza. Would hate to lose Bailey to another club as he's one of the only Eagles with some dog in him. Brock and Bazzo look okay, but we could use with another key defender alongside Edwards and Jinby. They tried it with Jamo. Why not Bailey? What do you think about that one, Eliza? You've seen a fair bit of West Coast play.
I don't mind the theory behind it. He is such a competitor in the air, and he has looked really good. As that jumping ruck, but also that's key forward. Like, he's obviously not dominating, but he showed signs and some potential. And you're right, Jeremy McGovern, retiring earlier this year. Is there a potential for someone else to come and be that big leaping back?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think when Bailey plays his best, it's when he's aggressive and he's competitive, right? And he's physical. And if he can do that as a backman, you can compete with anybody. And I think probably just needs to work on his cardio a little bit. But in terms of physicality, I think he's right up there. So I'd like that. I'd like to see that a lot. Would probably free Jimby up to play as the third tall as well, if they could do that. Dazza, this one's for you, Eliza.
I've been eyeing this one off.
Did West Coast deliberately drop the Oscar Allen statement at the time Freo were qualifying for finals? Happened late in the last quarter or just after Sunday's game. Can you give us some insight here?
Absolutely, they did. It's called taking out the trash in media land. You wait until everyone's eyes are on something else, and then you go, oh, look at us over here. We're just going to drop this little important bit of information, but no one's going to really care because that's happening over there.
Does that ever happen? What do you think? It's just lost? Oh,
yeah. Oh, what? No, but West Coast did it as well earlier this season when they announced that Oscar Allen was having season-ending knee surgery.
They
dropped that during, literally 2 minutes before the Fremantle-Essendon game on a Thursday night, 6 p.m. They dropped it then. So they've had form with Oscar Allen taking out the trash this year.
This is what I'm talking about with the honesty and the smoke and mirrors.
He had his exit meeting on Friday.
Oh, goodness gracious
Why didn't they do it on Friday?
Yeah, but this is for players too. The smoke and mirrors is gone, right? There's that much coverage. There's that many people talking about it. There's that many people looking for a story that if you have the story, and that is the club and the players, they have the story first. There's not a story going around about a player or a club that a media person has first. Would you agree?
Well, as a journalist, it is so frustrating when you get a vibe, you get a sense that something's happening, you ring the club and they just drop it and they just beat you to it.
Well, unfortunately, that's how it should work.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I know that's not good for your job.
It's not good for my job.
But that's how it should
there's nothing
work.
more frustrating, and most clubs approach it that way, whereas for some reason this got until Sunday, 2 days after the exit meeting.
Yeah, but if you're a player or a club, and just drop it. Right?
Because just tweet it, Oscar Allen. Get on Twitter.
Yeah, correct.
I'm out. See ya.
I would like to see more of that, clearly, being in content. I would like to see more of that, and we don't see it enough. Hey, Matt asked, now the top 8 is pretty much set. Who do you have in the grand final and who wins it?
I kind of feel like
it's
a
bloody hard this
Brisbane
year.
Geelong grand final.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're going to switch over to opposite sides of the...
I don't know why I've got this romance with teams not in the top 4, but I love GWS, Freo, Hawthorn, and...
You love an underdog.
I'm not really Gold Coast. I don't love Gold Coast at the moment. I don't think they can win it. Who would be in the grand final? I think Adelaide with their... As long as they beat Collingwood, Adelaide with a home prelim make it.
Yeah.
No matter who they play. I don't know if they can win it though. So who plays Adelaide? I think that... I don't know how the draw's going to work. I think that GWS or Fremantle could make the grand final.
Interesting.
And win it.
Okay.
Wow.
Note that. Time code that.
Big call. I don't know if that's even possible, to be honest. And
Sounds legit.
Jessica goes for this one. I haven't read this one at all. How much goes into selecting the All-Australian teams? Do players get a bonus for making it? How do they select the panel who chooses the side? So just for some information here, the 2025 All-Australian selection panel is... Do you know this, Eliza? Do you know who's on it?
I only know who's on the AFLW one with me.
Okay.
I don't
Who's
care
on
about
that?
the men's one.
Who's on that? Out of interest?
Laura Kane, Andrew Dillon, Kate McCarthy's a new addition this year. She's doing great work with Channel 7. Katie Loynes, former AFLW player.
Yes.
Erin Phillips, I sat next to her at the meeting last year and got a few goosies.
Okay.
Talking footy with Erin Phillips. Who else?
Is Abby Holmes on it?
Abby Holmes is not on it.
Good. Good. I mean,
She's on the men's one.
she is. I'm just looking at that now. So the men's one is Andrew Dillon, Laura Kane, Eddie Betts, Jude Bolton, Nathan Buckley, Kane Corns, Abby Holmes, Glenn Jakovic, and Matthew Pavlich. I think Pav may have to relinquish a little bit of his get-go here. He's highly... his integrity.
You probably can't have the CEO of Sydney on the panel.
So I think Pav may have probably, the moment he signed that, has probably stepped away a little bit. If the decision's been made about Brodie Grundy, maybe he doesn't want him in there. He's going to pay him more.
Is he going to get a bonus if he gets in next year?
Well, but the question is, how much goes into selecting all Australian teams? I think they meet 4 times a year. Jacko speaks about the lovely dinners and accommodation they get over there. Do players get a bonus for making it? Yes, as far as I know. My contracts always used to have a All-Australian bonus in it.
Did that ever get exercised?
No, it didn't, Eliza.
No.
Thanks for bringing that up. Why'd you say that with a smirk on your face? I think most players would have that. Mine could have been $1 million, the bonus, and the club would have had it in there. I always used to say that to my manager. I said, you should just try and bump that All-Australian bonus to like $1 million.
Just slide that
happens,
under their
and then I'll
noses
just really
and-
get to work.
Yeah.
And how do they select the panel who chooses the side? I don't know how they select it, but I think they like to have, a variety of opinions, a variety of, I guess, states and teams
They want
represented.
former players. They want a mix of media reps / former players are the main 2 pools they pick from, and then obviously different states as well.
They don't have anyone from Brisbane, which I would point out, and Tom Rockliff has done.
It's not a
so.
guarantee. It's
Yes.
more just they want different people in each state.
Yeah, no,
It doesn't have to be one in every
Simon
state.
Black would be a logical add
Yeah,
for me. Last one, and this is directly to you, Eliza. This is from Bustleton, and it's Adam.
Adam P.
Adam P.
Yep.
Any tips on how not
Long
to...
time listener, first time caller.
Any tips on how not to lose your voice while calling the footy?
Oh, Adam. This reminds me a lot of Adam Papalia, our obviously colleague on this
Yes,
podcast.
who is from Bustleton.
Who is from Bustleton. What a coincidence there. But honey, I've heard is good. Scull a bit of honey, scull a bit of tea, coffee. Just keep the vocal cords warm.
I've got form in this. Like I've had something wrong with my throat for about 3 years now. I did try and book into a specialist once. I missed the appointment. So,
Really? That bad?
Oh, it's just once footy season starts, it just gets husky, and I have to do little coughs, and it does my head in. But what really helped me, I lost my voice after a gather round. It got completely gathered.
From
up by
calling
Adelaide.
or-
No, not from calling, from party, from being out till...
I do recall because I believe I filled in on this podcast after Gather Round.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Correct.
there you go.
I had no voice. But I was probably less about my voice and more about my wellness, both mentally and physically. I smashed chamomile tea with honey and lots of fluid, lots of water, which was as much recovery from drinking piss for 4 days straight as it much was to get my voice back. But it did work.
I was called up to do the South Fremantle Bulldogs Waffle W Best and Fairest last year. Lost my voice the day of.
And?
Could not get it back.
Wow.
They were like, oh, can you send us like a voice sample? Like, we'll see if we can get you through. And it was like, so I'm not equipped to give Adam P any advice in that area.
Bad luck, Paps. Get to work yourself, mate. Go and get that throat sorted out. Hey, Eliza, thanks for filling in across Tuesday and today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And expertise. Excited for Fremantle next week. Can catch you. What are you doing over the week? Are you calling any games? You working AFLW?
AFLW 6PR. I'll be on the boundary for the Fremantle North Melbourne game on Sunday.
Unbelievable. Sounds great. Thank you, Eliza. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. The Footy Interchange Exchange, where you get your questions answered. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Join us next week when Paps may or may not be back.